Okay, boys, what did we learn last time? Who will tell?
Sir,
Yes,
sir, I have a question about previous chapter.
yes, sure.
Sir, is assimilation included?
Yes, yes,
But you did not explain us.
I did. I
No.
told that you see that it is the distribution of digested food to all the cells and tissues of our body.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what did we learn last time? Did I teach you about the uptake of water?
No, sir.
Did I teach you about the transverse section of root and stem?
Yes, sir.
Both?
Sir, only root.
Only root? Okay. Okay, boys. Quickly, I will revise the transfer section of root and then we'll go to the stem as well. So first let's learn. Now, boys, if you guys remember, I told you guys, let's suppose that this is the root. And if we take a thin slice of the root from here and then we enlarge this diagram under the microscope, what we'll observe, for drawing the diagram, I told you guys to draw a circle, right? Then after that, what do? That you draw cells over here. Right, boys? The next step, what do we do? That
Yes, sir.
we rub from different areas like this. And then we make the extensions like this. Like this. Okay, boys? Then, what did I tell you guys? That in the middle, there is star-shaped xylem. And then what did we learn? That in between the arms of the xylem, there is phloem. Then, boys, what did we learn? That around the xylem and phloem, there is a layer of cells. Now, boys, we label this. But this outermost layer of cells, it is called as epidermis. These extensions of the epidermal cells, these are called as root hairs. Then, boys, inner to epidermis, the tissue is called as cortex. Now, inner to cortex, this layer of cells is called as endodermis. Then this star-shaped is xylem, and in between the arms of the xylem, this is phloem. Another thing which we learned, that xylem and phloem, they are collectively called as vascular bundle. Collectively, what are they called? Vascular bundle. Right, boys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the transverse section of the root. Now, boys, we are going to learn about the transverse section of the stem. Now, boys, let's suppose that this over here, we have a plant. We cut the stem from here like this, and then we observe it under the microscope, and we'll observe the transverse section of the stem. Now, again, for drawing the transverse section of the stem, we need to draw a circle. Now, again, what we'll do, we'll draw the outermost layer of cells. Now, as you guys know, that the outermost layer of cells is called as epidermis. Now, as next step, what do we do? That we draw a circle over here. Now, as let me tell you that in this stem, vascular bundle means xylem and phloem, they are arranged in a circle. Now, I did a mistake. I used red color. Okay, boys. So vascular bundle, it is arranged in a circle. Now, so this over here, this is how vascular bundle, it is arranged in the circle. Now, boys, as I drew the xylem with the red color, that's why I'm going to use the red color to show the xylem. Now, xylem is present on the inner side. Xylem is present on the inner side. And the phloem, it is present on the outer side like this. Right, boys? Now, let's label this diagram. So, boys, this is the outermost layer of cells, and outermost layer of cells is always called as epidermis. Now, guys, this is not one word. These are actually two words: epi and dermis. The word epi, it means outermost, and the word dermis, it means layer of cells. So the epidermis means outermost layer of cells. Then boys, inner to epidermis, there's this tissue, and this tissue is again called as cortex. Then boys, this inner one, it is xylem, and this outer one, it is phloem. And then there's this tissue which is present on the inside. This tissue is called as pith. And as we know, xylem and phloem, they are collectively called as vascular bundle. Right, boys? So this is the transverse
Yes,
section
sir.
of the stem. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
one labeling is left, that is this one. This green line, it is representing vascular cambium or cambium. Now, cambium is a tissue which helps in making new xylem and phloem every year. So every year, new xylem and new phloem, it is made from the cambium. Now let me give you an example, boys. Whenever, if you guys have seen a cut stem, in that cut stem, you always see that there are dark and light circles. There are dark and light circles like this. Have you guys seen this?
Yes, sir. They're even used for determining an age of the plant, right?
Yes. Yes, that's what I was going to tell. That these darker circles, they represent xylem, and light colored circles, they represent phloem. The dark colored circles, they represent xylem, and the light colored circles, they represent phloem. Now, as I'm telling you, every year new xylem and phloem is made. So if you count the number of xylem and phloem, you count the number of dark and light circles, you can tell the age of a tree or age of a plant. Got it, boys? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, guys, next thing which we are going to discuss, that is the uptake of water. Now, guys, next topic which we are going to discuss, that is the uptake of water. Now, let me give you one example that our houses, you see, they are maximum 2 stories or 3 stories maximum, right? So maybe 30-35 feet tall. Now, for pumping the water from the ground to the top of the building, we use electrical motors, right? So electrical motor and its energy is consumed, is used to pump the water up. Now, does anyone you do anyone of you know that the largest SUV of Toyota, what is its name? Uh,
Sequoia.
Very good. Sequoia. Do you know why they have given it the name sequoia? Now, let me tell you that in California, there are redwood trees. Have you heard this name, redwood trees? Now, these redwood trees, they are at average about 400 feet tall, and their scientific name is sequoia. Now, interesting fact that these 400 feet tall trees and water is going up towards the top leaves without any electrical motor. Interesting or not, boys? Right?
Yes, yes, sir, it is
Now,
Yes,
interesting.
sir.
and another interesting fact, let me tell you that most of the Toyota cars, their names are scientific names. Now, I have an assignment. I just gave you one example that Sequoia is the name of the redwood trees, the scientific name. Toyota Corolla, you will find out what is the meaning of Corolla. Okay.
Sir, it's an island
And
in Japan.
no, find the meanings of Corolla today. Google it today, okay? It's
Sir,
related
it
to
means the
plants.
petals of a flower.
Very good. Petals of flowers. Scientific name. There was a model of the Corolla that was the model of Toyota that was called Toyota Corona. Not the Corona, Toyota Corona, Crona. Also check its meanings as well, right? So you will find that out. So this is just some interesting facts. Now, boys, how the water reaches up so tall, on the top. Now, for that purpose, to make you understand, first of all, I'm going to draw the parts of the roots first of all. So first I drew the root hair cell. Now I'm drawing the cortex cells. So these are the cortex cells. Then after the cortex cell, we have the endodermis, and after the endodermis, we have xylem. Right, boys?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
xylem from the root goes up into the xylem of the stem, and then that xylem of the stem goes into the xylem of the leaves. Now, boys, this over here, this is root hair cell. This is cortex. This is endodermis. This over here is xylem in root. This over here is xylem in stem, and this over here is xylem in leaf. Now, let me draw quickly some tissues of the leaves so that you guys can understand this more easily. Now, boys, a quick reminder about few things. There is an upper epidermis, and then there is the lower epidermis. Now, you guys know that on the lower epidermis, there are stomata. Then there are palisade cells on the upper side, and there is spongy tissue and spongy cells on the lower side. right boys? And this over here, this is xylem of the leaf, right boys? So this is how the arrangement of xylem is in roots, stem and leaves. Understood everyone or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, now look here boys, what happens that from stomata the water evaporates. Now this evaporation of water through stomata, this is called as transpiration. You guys have learned that in grade 7. We will learn that in the next lecture in detail, inshallah. Now guys, when water will be evaporated from the stomata through the lower surface, then what will happen? More water will enter from the xylem into the leaf. At that time, in the xylem of the leaf, a vacuum will be created, or a tension will be created over here. Now, because of this vacuum, because of this tension, what will happen? Water from the xylem of the stem will move into the xylem of the leaf. Now, as the water will move from the xylem of the stem into the xylem of the leaf, then the water will move from the xylem of the root into xylem of the stem. Then what will happen? That the water potential in the xylem of the root will decrease. So what will happen? Let's suppose that these cortex cells, they are named as A, B, and C. Let's suppose. Then water from the cortex cell C will enter into the xylem. And due to this, the water potential in the cell C of the cortex will decrease. So as the water potential in the cell C will decrease, so water from the cell B will enter into cell C. Then the water potential in cell B will decrease. Then water from cell A will enter into cell B. Because of that, water potential in cell A will decrease. Then water from the root hair cell will enter into the cell A. Then the water potential, it will decrease in the root hair cell. So eventually what will happen? The water will move from the soil into the root hair cell. Now all this movement of water from cell to cell, it is happening by one process, and that process is what? Osmosis. And what is that process? Osmosis. Right, boys? So this is how the
Yes.
water will keep on moving up. Now just imagine the main pull of the water. The main pull of the water that happened because of transpiration. When the transpiration happened, when the water evaporated from the lower surface of the leaf, because of that, a vacuum or tension was generated in the xylem of the leaf. To fill that vacuum, the water moved from the xylem of the stem into the leaf xylem. Then water moved from the xylem of the root into the stem xylem. And when the water became less in the xylem of the root, then water moved from the cortex cell into the xylem. Then When the water became less in cortex cell C, it got the water from B because there were higher water potential was high. Then you see the B lost the water potential, so it got it from A. A got it from the root hair cell, and root hair cell got it from the soil. So what happens that due to this transpiration, due to this transpiration, water is being pulled up. So this is called as transpirational pull. What is it called? Transpirational pull. And the water continuously moves up because of transpiration, and that is called as transpirational stream. So the pulling of water up because of transpiration is called transpirational pull, and continuous movement of water up because of transpiration is called as transpirational stream. So let me mention over here that continuous movement of water through xylem because of transpiration is called as transpirational stream. And what is transpirational pull? The pull of water upward because of transpiration is called as transpirational pull. Pull of water upwards because of transpiration. Right, boys?
Yes, sir.
Everyone understood this?
Yes.
So, boys, today's lecture is this much. Now, if you guys have any question, you guys can ask me. Most probably, inshallah, next class, or this chapter will be finished.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, guys, I want you all to quickly draw these diagrams of transverse section of root and stem and label it, because let me tell you the question can come in the exam to label these diagrams. So you should be very sure the position of each tissue. Understands everyone?
Yes.
So quickly draw it.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I'm done.
With labeling.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Sir, I've also done.
So boys, you have to memorize these labelings, okay?
Done, sir. I've done labeling, Andrew.
No, sir.
Good. Once we finish this, you see, chapter, inshallah, then we'll discuss the end of chapter questions of this chapter and also the last chapter which we finished, inshallah, okay?
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Yes, and inshallah, then after you
Okay.
see, once we finish, then we'll discuss the worksheets as well.
Okay, sir.
Okay, boys, see you guys inshallah in next class. Take care and Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Allah Hafiz.